Welcome back. Summer, of course, is a great time of year to get in some reading. So what makes a book a great read, one you won't want to put down? Luanne Rice certainly knows. She's a New York Times best-selling author of books including The Shadow Box, The Last Day, and young adult novel Pretend She's Here. A New Britain native, she now lives on the shore where some of her books are based. We're happy to welcome Luanne Rice to CT22. Luanne, thank you so much for being with us. In your mind, as a best-selling author, what makes for a great beach read?
Well, thanks for having me, Eric. Yes, it's a perfect time to be thinking about this just as summer's starting, and I think that the most important thing is to find something you love, like find something that's going to grab you and really grip you. I'm thinking back, to when I was a kid and how much. I mean, before I was a writer, I was a reader, and I'm a voracious reader. I can't get enough, and in the summer, I do love to go right down to the beach or the beach chair and get lost in the sound of the waves and in the lull of the words. Recently, I've been pretty much into thrillers, so I've been reading a lot of suspense. I think it's whatever you feel like. And I was thinking when my mother, who was an English teacher in New Britain, she obviously encouraged us, my sisters and I, to read all the time. And I remember, like, when she would be sitting in her beach chair, one year she was reading, it was called A Gift from the Sea. It's by Anne Morrow Lindbergh. And that sort of stuck with me because it's nonfiction, and we're a big fiction family. I mean, novels is mostly what I love to read, but it had to do with a woman who was sort of on a quest to find meaning in her life. And she did it by walking the beach and picking up shells, and looking at them, really studying them, like a moon shell, I remember. And I think a channeled whelk was one. And that's another thing I love to do when I'm visiting a place or someplace new or someplace old, kind of to read about it, to read something that will not necessarily teach me, but something that will grab me.
Well, and fans of your writing will recognize a lot of Connecticut places. I know The Shadow Box was based roughly on the Fotis Dulos story. Last Day is a murder from 1985, to kind of grip from the headlines, murder from East Lyme. So you may notice some local places and local themes if you read Luanne Rice. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's true. And I love when readers come up to me and they say, hey, I recognize the fish market, or is Paradise ice cream really Hallmark ice cream, things like that. And it really delights me, of course, when that happens. So hopefully readers will recognize places they know and love.
I want to ask you about your process in writing. They say to new TV reporters, just imagine you're talking to a friend through the camera. Do you do the same thing when you're writing? Are you imagining that person sitting down at Rocky Neck or Hammonasset in a beach chair, opening up the latest Luanne Rice book and reading it? Is that person on your mind as you're writing?
For the most part, no, it would be too daunting, be afraid of that somehow I'd either be trying to please them or not let them down. And for me, it's all about the character. So the main character comes to me and I just follow her. Whatever she tells me to do, I'm there with I just have to keep up with her. That's my job. But I do love thinking after the book is written, after it's finished, and I don't have to worry about my readers, suggestions, I guess I'd say, then I love thinking of them. Just picturing someone on a porch in a rocking chair, getting lost in the story, or, it doesn't have to be the beach, obviously, it can be wherever you love. It can be inside your house on a rainy day, obviously, or in a hotel, on a plane. So yeah, I do love picturing that.
When we were kicking around the idea of asking you to come on the show, our producer said that she read Shadow Box and thought, my life is so busy, I'm so crazy, I can't put this down because I want to know what happens next. When people say that to you, are you like, yes, that's what I was going for?
That's the biggest compliment a writer can get, is to have somebody lose time, and really get lost in the story and believe the characters are real.
Now, let me ask you this. We have about 2 minutes left, so we got some time here. Give us some suggestions. If people are saying, all right, you've got this best-selling author on, Eric, have her tell us what to read. So, Luanne, give us some suggestions for this summer.
Well, I have four in mind. One is by a Connecticut author, wonderful writer named Deborah Goodrich Royce, and she has two books out. The one that is most recent is called Ruby Falls. The one before that is Finding Mrs. Ford, and it takes place in Watch Hill. And anybody from the Connecticut shoreline who's been to Watch Hill will just love it. Ruby Falls is amazing too. Also, these are 3 other New England writers, not Connecticut specifically, but Paul Dworin, who writes a series about a Maine ranger, so it's very much set in nature. And the most recent one is called Hatchet Island. Also, The Drowning Sea by Sarah Stewart Taylor, and there's one that's just kind of incredible, but My Wife is Missing by DJ Palmer. So all of those will keep your attention. You won't be able to sleep. You won't be able to put them down, and I highly recommend them.
All right, well, we'll get the names of all those. If people didn't have a pen handy, I'll post them on my Facebook page. So if you go to my Eric Parker WFSB Facebook page, we'll have them on there. So if you want that reading list from an author herself, let me ask you, talked about being a voracious reader because you grew up that way. So many kids now are out of school. They've got that summer reading list. I think in some cases they're like, oh man, I got to read these books. But is that the right move? Get those kids out there reading and maybe develop a lifelong love like you found?
I think so, yeah. Like, don't have it be an assignment. I know there are such things as assignments, but find something you love. Go to the bookstore, go to the library, just let yourself wander through the stacks and find something that grabs you. It doesn't have to be something that's going to make you a better person, make you, learn specifically. I mean, you will learn, of course, if you read. And turn off the devices. I have the same thing. I'm sitting here, constantly checking my phone. This is a really great chance to unplug, and incredible things will happen to you in your life. It's the magic of life is turning everything off and reading.
Well, I won't make you give away any secrets. We only have a few seconds left, but you got another book coming?
I have a short story coming out this summer. It's going to be called Belle Mare. It takes place in Newport, and it'll be in a collection called the Getaway Collection. All
right, well, we'll watch for that, and we'll hopefully have you back on. Maybe this can be a regular segment. You can come on and tell people what to read. It could be like Luanne and Eric's book club right here on CT22.
Let's do it, Eric. I'm on board.
All right, sounds good. Luanne Rice, thank you so much for being with us. If you're looking for something great to read this summer, you should check out Luanne's books. You can see, if you recognize some of the Connecticut locations where the stories are set, you see the titles right there. She gave us 4 authors. I'll give you a 5th. Luanne Rice, go get the books. They're page turners. You're going to love them.